Discover how plant medicine can help you heal yourself. And today's episode with Stephanie. She's an inner alignment guide, and she's guiding you to energetical alignment and deep self-discovery through personalized mentorship, breathwork, yoga, and plant medicine. So, Stephanie, please tell us, how can entrepreneurs heal themselves with plant medicine? Heal Podcast with Lily Patrascu shares longevity and anti-aging techniques to stay young forever, increase energy, overcome addiction, and live your longest, best life ever. Shared by world's most innovative, alternative, and traditional health thought leaders, healers, and doctors. Discover quantum healing strategies to heal your mind, body, and soul.
I think it's a very broad question you're asking, obviously, but I think there's different ways, and plant medicine works in a way where you can, dive deeper into your inner world, especially if we look at psychedelics and we go deeper into what psychedelics can do for you. I truly believe that healing happens when you turn the focus inwards. And I also think that physical ailments come from the mind. They come from DNA, epigenetics, like things that are passed on generation upon generation upon generation. And I think the plants can really help with that. They spread awareness and they allow for your consciousness to expand, where you have insight in those hidden things in your mind that you normally don't have access to.
Thank you. So tell us more about that. Like, what kind of illnesses can be potentially healed or reduce the I'm not sure what the word is. I don't know why I'm mumbling so much. Okay, so tell us what kind of illnesses can be potentially healed with plant medicine, and what kind of plant medicine are we talking about?
Yeah, so obviously there's a variety of plant medicines, but if, for example, I'll speak a little bit more specific in psilocybin. There's a lot of research that's been happening now, luckily again, where research has picked up again now. Psilocybin is really good because it really promotes neuroplasticity, and it really promotes dormant pathways to be activated again, which means that you can see something from a different perspective, which is a problem or is something that is in your mind that you keep looping over and over again. And psilocybin has a beautiful way to bring that to light with a lot of love, right? But if we look more so at the physical aspect of things as well, psilocybin works with serotonin. So the moment psilocybin enters your system, it's transferred into psilocin in the liver and the stomach, and that then starts to contact the neuroreceptors that actively makes serotonin. Obviously, serotonin is a beautiful, happy brain chemical, right? So it really alleviates stress. And it allows for someone to be more clear in their head. They get more happy feelings. And so this is the number one thing. Like, only when you have a calm, relaxed nervous system and you feel really good about yourself can you actually heal things inside of you. One of the things that I always talk about, if your nervous system is actively in fight flight, you can't really integrate new experiences or process things that have happened to you. Because imagine running away from a lion, right? Like, you're in fight flight, you're running away from a lion, you're like, oh my God, I need to survive. You can't just stop and say, oh, let me just take a moment to see how I feel right now. That doesn't work. So psilocybin really promotes the calmness and the clarity to integrate and process feelings and emotions, and also sometimes the stuff that is hidden. And I believe that whatever is hidden is it's like the unconscious part of you that creates your reality and manifests also in physical illness in the body.
Wow, that is so fascinating. Tell us, how does it work? Like, is this medicine addictive?
No.
And
absolutely not.
No. Is it like a psychedelic?
Yes, it is a psychedelic. Actually, they're mushrooms, and there's many different mushrooms. I'm from the Netherlands, right? So I live in Amsterdam, and luckily here we have truffles, and they are illegal, and it's really beautiful. We have a beautiful microdose institute as well, where there's lots of research that's been happening. But yeah, psilocybin comes from different mushrooms and different strains of mushrooms as well. They all do something different. And yeah, it's just, for me, it's like super profound, like the healing that it can bring. Like once you have awareness around something, right? And psilocybin does that so beautifully, just like ayahuasca, just like San Pedro, just like Cambo, they all open a door inside of you where you all of a sudden have awareness around something. And once you have awareness, you know your blind spot, you can actually start working on it. So plant medicine opens the door to awareness with so much love.
Thank you. How safe is it to use plant medicine to heal yourself and to start getting awareness for what you're doing or what you're not doing to create disease in your body?
I think the first and foremost thing is always, let yourself be guided by someone that you really feel, okay, I can really trust this person. This feels really good. They know what they're talking about. There's also, unfortunately, many people out there that might not have your best interest and that maybe just see it in a lucrative way to make money. And there's something to be said about that as well, because we have to be so respectful and on guard with these sacred medicines, right? Because often they come from the Amazon. Like I work with Cambo too, for example, and Cambo is a giant monkey tree frog from the Amazon. And the secretion of the frog is used for ceremonies. And in these ceremonies, people go through a really heavy detoxification process. Like it really cleanses you on the cellular level. And therefore, it's amazing to heal physical diseases, fertility. It boosts fertility. It actively fights cancer. It's amazing, like what it can do and the profound effects after are actually amazing. But you can never just do a ceremony like that by yourself, because you have to be a trained professional to know all the contraindications, to know what medications does it go with and what medications is contraindicated, like what are the guidelines when it comes around water. So it's really important that you do your research before you start working with any type of plant medicine. And also, it's not for everyone. Like, I think that's something that really needs to be said. You either feel really called to work with plant medicine or you really feel like, no, it's not for me. And that's okay. Listen to that.
Thank you. How do we know that this is safe and not addictive? Is it that thousands of people have already experienced that and they haven't become addicted to the plant medicine?
Yeah, exactly that. And also there is no addictive compounds in the actual medicine itself. So if you, for example, look at tobacco, there's obviously nicotine in there, and the nicotine part of the smoking the cigarette is what is addictive. But in these plant medicines, there's nothing in there that could make you addicted to it. Plus, if anything, what it does is that it shines light on why you are addicted to something in the first place. Right? Because I believe addiction is a coping mechanism, and we all have addictions and we all have coping mechanisms. Like, and for someone that is drugs, for another person that might be alcohol, but someone else might actively work and is a bit of a workaholic, and someone else emotionally eats. So there's all these different things that are actually coping mechanisms. And what plant medicine actually does is that it allows you to look beyond that and actively go to the root of what is causing that.
Thank you. What kind of illnesses can be potentially healed with plant medicine? And I'm talking from like an emotional perspective, like let's say trauma that leads to a freeze mode, or let's say trauma that leads to certain self-sabotaging behaviors. If you can.
Yeah. So what it basically does is that it takes you back to, for example, if you have a heavy trauma, say around I'm not good enough, right? It's a trauma. We all have this. What plant medicine so beautifully does is that it really softly, and I'm speaking specifically now into psychedelics. So ayahuasca or psilocybin or those two, right? And they really bring you to the love that you already have within yourself, to understand who you are beneath all the identities, beneath all the layers of conditioning, beneath all the programs, like beneath all the beliefs that are actually not yours. Because when we come back to the source of it all, you're just love. That's all you are. And we are all the same, and we are all connected, right? And this profound feeling you feel when you are in a plant medicine ceremony. You come out of a plant medicine ceremony feeling so much love for everyone and around the world, and the person that was next to you, and it all feels like soul family. And I believe that love transforms everything. And when you can see truly the core behind it all, and you start to understand, this is why I'm feeling this way, because something happened in my past that installed a belief, but actually I can see now it's not mine. And this is what plant medicine really so beautifully does, right? If you go in with an intention and you want to really work on something, oftentimes it's what you will go to. And that's not always, because plant medicine, especially ayahuasca, gives you what you need, not necessarily what you want, in your highest good always.
Thank you. What kind of physical ailments can plant medicine help with?
So I need to specify this because, like, obviously psychedelics are very different than, for example, Cambo, because Cambo is such a physical process, right? But again, I believe that everything stems back from the mind, because the mind is what causes nocebo, placebo in the body, right? We create everything ourselves. And we create, if you look at depression, for example, if you depress emotions for a very long time and you suppress emotions, what actually happens in the end is you become depressed, right? So it's all about allowing for those emotions to flow through you, and Cambo does that super beautifully on a physical level. So it really works on the body. It releases stuck energy that's been stuck in the body. It really focuses on the inflammation that takes place in the body. But ayahuasca or psilocybin actually works before that, because it starts to work on the brain. And, with ayahuasca, you can even go into previous lives, for example, to figure out, why is this something that is bothering me now if I don't have like a conscious trauma around this, or I don't know what the belief around this is. And that's what the plant medicines really do. They allow you to work deeper beneath the layers of what you can actually perceive yourself.
Thank you. How can people clear perhaps limiting beliefs and step into their power with plant medicine?
Plant medicine really facilitates the way into understanding why that belief was there in the first place. So, you go really back to the root cause, obviously. So once you know the root cause and you have awareness around this, all of a sudden everything starts to click in a different way. And what ayahuasca does, and also psilocybin again, is if you look at the science behind it all, it really activates new neurological pathways. So the easiest way I always explain this, imagine that you're on the top of a hill, a snowy mountain, and you go in your sled and you go down. Right? And then you go back up again, and then automatically your sled will go in the same routes like it went before, right? That's a pathway. What psychedelics do, psilocybin and also, for example, ayahuasca, is they allow you with your little sled to go all these different routes that were there all along, but they were just never used before. So all of a sudden, when you have a belief around not being good enough, you can see that from so many different angles and actually come to the conclusion that's not true. Like, actually, it's not true. I am inherently good enough, but I've just picked up these beliefs along the way. And I work a lot with my clients also with timeline therapy and emotional change technique in combination with what it is that I do, to really understand, okay, what did you need as a child back then? Because the integration is a massive process after the psychedelic experience. I think it's one of the most important things, actually, because psychedelics only open the door, but it's what you do with it after that really matters. To really understand, hey, what did you actually need at the time? Moving through the feelings. Like, I think the only way to heal something is to feel it. You got to feel it to heal it. That's my motto always. You got to work through it to get out at the other end.
Thank you. What else should entrepreneurs know about plant medicine and how it can heal?
I think at the end of the day, plant medicine really just facilitate the way for you to do the work yourself. Like, no one can tell you how to heal yourself. Like, at the end of the day, you need to be putting in the work. You need to face the demons, face the shadows, the parts of you that you maybe don't want to see. And with plant medicine, you don't really have an out. If it's super present and you need to see something inside yourself that you'd rather not, plant medicine in a gentle, but also in a way is like, hey, this is it. You can't really go around it. So it's really, you're just faced with yourself. Like, plant medicine is like a gigantic mirror where you're asked with love to look in the mirror and really truly see yourself for who you are, with all the parts, the scattered parts, the chaotic parts, the beliefs that are not yours, all the ways that you talk to yourself. And then look at that with so much love and kindness to yourself. Like, at the end of the day, like, that's what every healing modality leads back to, right? Doesn't matter what you do. At the end of the day, everything transforms with love and forgiveness.
Thank you. Tell us some case studies of entrepreneurs or people you've worked with and the results they've had with working with you with plant medicine and your other techniques.
Yeah, so for example, Cambo is a really amazing plant medicine. It is a frog, but yeah, it classifies as plant medicine. It's just such an amazing, powerful tool, because what Cambo does in specific, if you're speaking about entrepreneurs, is that it really clears the brain fog. So it actively works on viruses, parasites, candida, and candida is something that really stems in the brain a lot, and a lot of people feel unclear with that, and they're like, oh, I've got so many to-dos, but I don't have the overview, I don't know what to do. And Cambo really works super beautifully with that, because it clears all of that. And what plant medicine really does at the end of the day is that it really grounds you. And grounding is actually so important, because if you're not grounded, you can't go up. If you're not grounded, you don't have the clarity in your mind, right? And it's actually the same with psilocybin. Psilocybin also allows you to, especially microdosing is a fantastic tool for entrepreneurs, because it really shows you ways to stay focused. Like, you can really stay focused. Like, it shuts a part of your brain down. It's called the default mode network, which is the part of your brain that overthinks, that loops experiences, that is like da 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 da, like the overthinker, and because it sort of stops that part of your brain, you're so in tune with the work that you do, because you don't have that constant nagging or mental chatter that you would normally have. And so the results with that is that you can stay super focused and not get so distracted by all the, the thousands of millions impulses we get on a daily basis. We get about 90 million impulses on a daily basis, and we can't comprehend all of that, right? So we have a filter system in place, the reticular activation system, that shows you, okay, I already know this. Look, there's another one of those things. Oh, there's another one of those things. It filters out what you already know. And if we really look a little bit deeper into experiences such as I'm not worthy of the amount of money that I'm asking with my clients, for example, right? Your belief is I am not worthy. And what this RAS filter does is that it just filters out what's already there. And the most common example that I always use with this is, for example, you get up in the morning and you're like, oh my God, I'm super interested to buy a red car. And then you go out about your day and all of a sudden you see red cars everywhere, right? Like that specific red car that you've been looking at, all of a sudden you see it everywhere. That's because this RAS filter system is saying, hey, see, there's another red car. Hey, see, there's another red car. Hey, see, there's another red car. It affirms the belief that it's already there. But if you have a belief around, I'm not worthy of the amount of money that I'm asking to my clients, right? Or I can't close this sale, for example, what will happen is that this filter system goes, see, you're not worthy of that. See, you're not worthy of that amount of money. See, you can't close this sale. So it will just affirm to you what's already there. And what I do with my clients with using plant medicine, but also mindset, is like, hey, let's look at what this belief is. What is beneath that? Where was it installed in the first place? And let's integrate that back in with so much love and change this belief to I am worthy now.
Wow, fantastic. Tell us, why does plant medicine help with candida and with brain fog? What's the mechanism behind it?
So yeah, Cambo contains, up until now, we know 16 different peptides, what they have found. So peptides are the same things that are in antibiotics. And all these different peptides work differently with the brain. So there's neuroreceptors that are really opening up, but also the normal receptors in the body. And so there's an active compound in there that really focuses on actively, I think from the top of my head, don't hold me to it, but it's dermaceptin. And it really focuses on candida. It actively breaks down candida. So you have to see Cambo as like an immune system boost, and like antibiotics on steroids, but all natural. So with normal antibiotics, when you swallow antibiotics, the tablets, it needs to break and enter into your cell. And it clears everything, also all the good stuff. And what Cambo actually does is that the cell actually opens up because the body recognizes it, because it's a natural medicine. And it opens up and it clears out on a cellular level, and also, with candida and cancer, because candida is obviously closely related to cancer, actively feeds on sugar, breaks all of that down. And that's just one of the many peptides that is found up until now in candida and what it does. In Cambo and what it can do for you. So it's it's quite sciencey, but actually just breaks down candida. So what can actually happen if you have a lot of candida in your system, it happened to me when I did Cambo for the first time, is that you can actually get something called the Herxheimer effect. And it's because it's such an abrupt breakdown of candida in the body and in the mind, is that you can get a massive migraine. And I had this and I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And then after I realized, and at the time, the practitioner, she was super qualified, and she goes, that's because you have a lot of candida in your brain. You have a lot of candida in your system, in your body, and it's such an abrupt end of this process that you can get like a severe headache from it. And that's exactly what I had. And it scared me because I was like, wow, that means that I've had so much candida in my system and I didn't know about it. And so the clarity that comes through after is just, wow, like it's amazing.
Thank you. So does plant medicine then help not only with candida and brain fog, but with all inflammation
Yes.
Induced diseases?
Absolutely. And also it works amazing for pain. So there's another peptide in Cambo that is 40 times stronger than morphine, but it's made by the body like on its own. Cambo is just the instigator to make that hormone or make that chemical to actively numb, or I wouldn't say numb, but like to alleviate pain. And it's really super beautiful also for inflammation. So what I've seen often with Cambo is people that, for example, play guitar a lot, right? So their hands are really over, they're using their hands a lot. And the moment they do Cambo, they're like, oh my God, it feels like my heart is beating in my hands, because all the blood and Cambo is going there because it scans the whole body on inflammation, viruses, it scans the whole body, and at the end of the day, brings it back into the stomach. And it's a purgative process, so you either purge or you go to the toilet. It's pretty quick, but they always say, oh, my hands are throbbing. I can really feel that it's working on my hands. And you can just see where it's working on. And it's interesting side fact, like not last time, but a little while back, I used Cambo on myself. And I was like, oh, I can really feel my womb. Like there's so much is happening right now in my womb. Like I could feel it. And the next day I felt pregnant. So it's actually so amazing also when it comes to fertility and cysts and endometriosis. It's really, really profound. On the physical body, it's amazing, and it cleanses and clears panema, which is like a negative energy that can sort of maybe linger around if you believe a little bit more in energy, like an energy that you're holding or an energy that is not yours. It really helps alleviates that as well.
Wow, thank you. Can I ask you about this plant medicine that you mentioned? Does it cause psychedelic effects in the sense of you hallucinating or anything like that?
No, so Cambo is really a physical detox. Where you do not hallucinate at all. It could be that afterwards, like that you have some beautiful thoughts that come through or some beautiful realizations, but you're not in a psychedelic journey at all. Cambo doesn't do that. It's a physical ceremony.
Thank you. So it's not at all like ayahuasca, right?
No. Totally not. So there's so many different plant medicines out there, right? And I was with a friend yesterday and she showed me an encyclopedia like with just this thick with like all psychoactive plants. So there's a whole realm out there of psychedelics, but plant medicine definitely only works on the physical cleanse of the body.
Thank you. How can someone start taking plant medicine to heal themselves? Is it that they would have to consult with someone like you to create like a program, or
yes,
that you create like some sort of retreat or workshop where this is done for them?
Yeah, so currently I'm at the beginning of March. I'm not sure when this episode launches, but I'm doing 6-week microdosing journeys with people that find it a little bit scary to start. They've never had done anything with plant medicine before. So it's a really beautiful, gentle introduction into, okay, what is the plant medicine world? Like, how can I do that? And I facilitate ceremonies and masterclasses as well for people that are just generally interested in what it is. And I'm about to move to Portugal, and this is where I want to start my own retreat center. So that's very exciting.
Wow, that is fascinating. Tell us more about what else entrepreneurs should know about plant medicine and how it can help them.
I think if you look at entrepreneurs, like for me, being an entrepreneur has been easily the biggest spiritual journey that I took upon myself, because everything in business is such a reflection of myself, right? And you know this because you clearly have a podcast around this. So I think plant medicine just really truly helps and facilitate the process to show up as you. And the more layers you peel back, but with use of plant medicine, because that's what they so beautifully do, the more layers you start peeling back, the more authentic you become. And the more authentic you become, the more people are drawn to working with you. And it doesn't really matter what you do in business, but I truly believe that the more authentic you are and the more you show up truly as yourself, the more people are drawn to work with you. And that's what plant medicine at the end of the day does. She just removes, or it, because there's so many different spirits there, but they remove the layers of things that are actually not you. And you just come back more and more, you come more and more home to yourself and who you truly are.
Thank you. I suffer from sore throat and cough, and I've been suffering for the last 10 years, and it's been really difficult to come out of it. And I think the cause is actually stomach acidity. Is there any plant medicine that could help other patients like me with sore throat and cough caused by stomach acidity, most likely?
Yeah, so especially when you look at, that's interesting. I've had this exactly the same thing, by the way, in the past, where I had to have a whole exam and they checked my voice cords and stuff because the acid that it came up from my stomach. So Cambo works beautifully with that. It really will target the physical part of why that's hurting and the acidity in the stomach. But at the end of the day, what needs to happen is that you need to go to the root cause as to why that is happening in the first place. The throat center stands for the truth and living your own truth, being honest with yourself. Are you fully loving what it is that you do? Do you speak the truth to the people around you? Are you able to be outspoken in that and stand up for yourself and have boundaries? And so it's really about the emotional cause of why that's happening in the first place. So you can see how a tailored program would be for you. Hey, let's start with some Cambo first. Let's cleanse your body. Let's really get that inflammation down. Let's understand what's happening in the body. And then after, let's now go to the root cause so that it doesn't happen again. To understand why is this happening to you and how is it showing up? Maybe it has something to do with your ancestors. Maybe it comes from, I do a lot of inner child work and a lot of work with trauma, because I believe that a lot of trauma is installed when we are very young. And hey, let's go back to those moments in time when you couldn't speak up, when you wanted to say something, but you were not allowed to, when an opinion was forced upon you and you went into a freeze mode, So I think that's where the second layer lies, to really go deeper on, hey, what are the beliefs there? And microdosing is a beautiful assistant in that because it allows you to be an adventurer in your own mind and to start to understand, hey, there's a pattern happening here. You start creating awareness around it. Once you have the awareness, you can do the deeper work to understand when was it installed? How did it happen? What was I feeling at the time? Who was involved? And what did I actually need back then?
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can find you.
They can find me on different things, but Instagram, Chava_wild_roots, which is my main sort of channel. And also they can find me on Facebook as well, which is Stephanie and then Cornelisse with a C, or Wild Roots as well, Chava Wild Roots. I also have a business page there. And yeah, I would love to see if people are interested in working with me or knowing more.
Thank you. Follow me for more interviews with world's most innovative health change makers to live your healthiest life ever.